Previously...
I need full control of co-production in the region.
But how was that economically feasible?
We must treat our vanquished foe with dignity.
Yes, after we formally recognize Italy's claim to Fiume.
When one fills a spittoon, one must then empty it.
This is the true account
Of 5 diplomats.
Made to live in a house.
And have their negotiations filmed.
to discover what occurs
When diplomats stop being polite.
And start hammering out the structure of post-World War I Europe. Huzzah! I did not know what was going on. I heard shouting, followed by loud French curses. Most distasteful language.
Regina refuses to recognize the repeated and continuously imminent threat that Germany poses. Deep in the pitched battle of rhetorical discourse, I felt that further negotiations were of little use.
France doesn't know this, but our intention is to blunt the crippling force of the treaty so that Germany can continue to be an effective military counterbalance to France in Western Europe. And I intend to press my case at all possible opportunities.
I was so incensed at Regina's intransigence that I just had to find a way to relax.
Later on, I was perusing oil paintings in the north wing when I happened upon a most surprising sight through the open bathhouse door. This could get complicated. It's really astounding to consider the evolution that the English language has gone through.
Who has strewn the wet towels all about the bathhouse rooms? Not only are our territorial demands being completely ignored, but I have to cohabitate with these slovenly excuses for diplomats. Why can't you just put the towel properly in the towel hamper after you use it?
My apologies, but I confess my complete ignorance on this account. It would seem that Lucia harbors some ill will towards me and will not hesitate to cast aspersions towards my cleanliness as soon as I'm under earshot.
I strongly suspect that Japan had some role in the half-eaten jar of rotting pickled fish that I found underneath the curtains in my bedchambers.
It's certainly not personal. We just felt that as a negotiating bloc, this 5-member team was simply too unwieldy.
And considering your remote territorial and security concerns, it may be easier for us to come to a consensus if there are fewer players on the stage, so to speak.
Are you certain it has nothing to do with my collection of dry toads?
This has everything to do with his collection of dried toads.
Then I should correct my belongings and return home. I suppose that it was never likely that I would accomplish much on this mission, but I will never forget the time I spent here in Versailles and the many engaging and detailed treaty discussions that occurred here. Hopefully, I will be able to continue correspondence with my associates here through proper diplomatic channels.
After some of the recent unpleasantness, it seemed prudent to present a change of scenery. I suggested that we all go out to a local dining establishment in the hopes that some fresh air would hasten the pace of accommodation.
I think you'll all agree that Belgium should be evacuated of all occupying forces and return to full sovereignty with all due haste. It is essential this act as an example for the restoration of international law.
Allowing that the territory of Alsace-Lorraine be restored to France to compensate for the Prussian insult of 1871.
Agreed. Another crucial point to consider is the continued restriction of Germany's naval access and maritime passage rights.
Yes, and let us not forget Italy's territorial claim on the province of Fiume.
Mademoiselle.
Okay, so our total is 210 francs.
Shall we split the cost evenly, then?
Oh, well, I would instead suggest a method of division that takes into consideration the disparity in the cost of our individual meal choices. Huh?
Okay.
I only had the soup.
Have you all considered that the customary tip for this region of France is 17%?
I most certainly have.
Since we have managed to come to a consensus on the partitioning of the base check, can we not also apply that same division to the tip?
This is truly an historic accord.
I believe we've completed this accord in record time.
Now that we've all signed, I suppose it's time to pay.
Has anyone got any change? Next week on The Real World, the treaty is finally complete and Germany's Hans-Jürgen arrives at the house to see it. And with the surprising return of Haruki Yoshida, new friendships will be forged.
So, where do you see yourselves in 10 to 15 years?